Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening at our fourth Redefining Our Schools Town Hall meeting. I'm Valerie Wanza. I have the honor of serving the district as the Deputy Superintendent Chief of Staff. We thank you for joining us this evening. Before we get started, we do have translation services available, so if our translators could please come to one of the floor mics and explain to the audience the service that you'll be providing. You're gonna come up? You wanna come up here? Sure, come on up here. Come on, absolutely.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Claudia Maciel. Meu nome é Cláudia Maciel. Eu estou aqui para tradução de português. Então, se você está aqui hoje à noite e fala português, não tem domínio da língua inglesa, pode me procurar, eu dou o equipamento e faço a tradução para você. Boa noite, bom evento a todos.
Good evening. My name is Adrian Exposito, and I'm here to help with the Spanish language, okay? So I hope we all have a good time today, okay? Thank you.
Say that in Spanish. Say that in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Por favor, por favor.
I'm sorry. It's my first time here, so. Mi nombre es Adrián Expósito y mi idioma es en español, así que si alguna persona necesita mi ayuda en el idioma en español, sería mi placer, ¿ok? Buenas tardes.
Bonsoir, messieurs, dames. Bonsoir tout le monde. Non pas M. Frédéric. Donc, moi, là, pour Lingua Express, pour expliquer en créole, ça qu'a dit dans la réunion. Donc, si nous avons besoin d'un débat en créole, donc, faites-moi connaître, moi, là, à votre service. Merci en pile.
Hello, good evening. My name is Facey. We also have Don. We're providing ASL interpretation. So if any need, you could go ahead and go down to my left, and we'll provide the ASL interpretation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to Fort Lauderdale High School for opening up their doors and for their warm hospitality, but to give us a proper flying L welcome, we bring to the stage Ms. Erin Brown, proud principal, Fort Lauderdale High School.
Thank you, Dr. Wanza. Thank you all for being here for this very important event. As Dr. Wanza mentioned, my name is Erin Brown, the proud principal here at Fort Lauderdale High School. Fort Lauderdale High School was recognized this year once again as one of the top high schools in all of the nation by U.S. News Report. Thank you. We are currently rated in the top 8% of all high schools. We also are one of the best high schools for magnet in all of the nation as well, being recently recognized as a magnet school of distinction and excellence in the last few years. Now for some very important housekeeping information. If you do need to use the restroom this evening, if you go exit out the auditorium stage to your right, we will have attached to the gymnasium, there is the male and female restrooms to your right. So if you need to use that, feel free at any time. And also, I'm going to now present our amazing Fort Lauderdale High School cadets. They will be presenting the colors and under the direction of our Chief Tyson and the commanding officer, color guard, commanded by Lieutenant Junior Grade Sabrina Schnoller. Please rise for the presentation of colors and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You can be seated. Before we begin, I just want to thank my staff, the amazing Fort Lauderdale High School band that was performing for you out there this evening, and all of the wonderful faculty members that are here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. So again, we welcome you here this evening. Before we get started, we would like to kind of give you an idea of what to expect so that you know what you can anticipate as we go through the evening. In a few moments, we will have a welcome by our District 3 School Board member, Mrs. Sarah Leonardi. Once she leaves, yes, go ahead, do that. At the conclusion of her remarks, our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Howard Hepburn, and our South Regional Superintendent, Mr. Alan Strauss, will then walk us through the current superintendent's considerations for our repurposing and redefining our schools efforts this school year. At the conclusion of their presentation, you will then have an opportunity to provide feedback in an electronic format, and then we will also open the live mics on the floor so that we can receive verbal feedback as well. So we look forward to tonight's conversation and from hearing and receiving your feedback. With that, we will begin with Mrs. Leonardi.
Good evening and a warm welcome to everyone joining us for our District 3 Town Hall as part of our Redefining Our Schools initiative. It is my pleasure to introduce my fellow school board member who is here with us this evening. Please welcome Dr. Alan Zeman. Additionally, I would like to recognize my colleagues who could not be in attendance tonight. Chair Lori Alhadef, District 4, Vice Chair Deborah Hickson, Countywide at Large, Seat 9, Daniel Fogenholy, District 1, Tori Alston, District 2, Dr. Jeff Holness, District 5, Brenda Pham, District 6, and Nora Rupert, District 7. I would also like to recognize any elected officials joining us tonight. If you are an elected official, please stand. Thank you. We are at a pivotal moment for Broward County Public Schools, confronting challenges such as underutilization of school space and under-enrollment. This initiative is more than just a conversation. It is a collective call to action. We are committed to working with our stakeholders through this process. Your commitment to joining us in this significant endeavor is invaluable. Together, we can foster transformative change, reshaping our schools for the better. I'm going to take a point of personal privilege. And as your District 3 School Board member, it is my job to listen to you. It is my job to serve you. It is my job to represent you. I have read your emails. I have taken your calls. And I want you to know that I am fighting for you. Now, please join me in welcoming our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Howard Hepburn.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for attending tonight's Redefining Town Hall. Tonight we will review my considerations for redefining BCPS, which will involve change of grade level configurations, lease or sale of properties, change of school boundaries, public-private partnerships, converting schools to full choice programs, repurposing schools, and also closing of schools. The considerations that will be presented to you involve reviewing feedback from our initial community conversations and reviewing a myriad of trend data that informed our key criteria to ultimately develop these considerations. These considerations focus on regaining students from competing non-district operating schools in areas with a large increasing amount of students. These considerations also include a mixture of closings and repurposing of schools for areas with declining student enrollment. These considerations we are presenting will address our ability to maximize district funding by creating recurring revenue by recapturing student enrollment, maximize our utilization of school space, and or lease of land to increase our fund balance and address other district priorities, public-private partnerships to increase collaboration for common community and school district interests. Tonight, we welcome your feedback and understand that feedback is truly a gift when addressing complex challenges. We have received input and feedback from previous town halls to include questions and concerns about closures, choice programs, facilities, faculty, staff, and much more. We are also received much feedback from the parents and communities of the Fort Lauderdale High and Stranahan High Innovation Zones via email. I also continue to receive feedback from all the board members, including Ms. Leonardi, who represents this district. The abundance of feedback continues to inform revisions to our final recommendations to be presented to the school board on May 14th. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Alan Strauss, our South Region Superintendent, who will start the presentation of the considerations.
Thank you, Dr. Hepburn. To go over the overview or agenda for this evening's presentation, we'll start off reviewing innovation zones. Then we will look at the initial criteria or data points for the data analysis. Then we'll move on to Dr. Hepburn's considerations. And as we progress through there, we will then ultimately also provide a total district realignment, which is not, and I'll repeat it when I get there, not a recommendation or a consideration of Dr. Hepburn's, but we wanted to give another viewpoint of redefining our schools. Finally, we'll cover timeline and ultimately the community feedback portion that Dr. Wansa mentioned earlier. To begin, we have 5 different clusters of zones. Fort Lauderdale-Stranahan, as Dr. Hepburn mentioned, is one of those clusters of zones. He mentioned the potential considerations that are up on the screen. And then now I'm going to move to the data or the criteria involved. The data involved, the first bullet talks about the current benchmark enrollment. Benchmark enrollment is also known as the 20th day count for this school year. The next bullet is the utilization of permitted seat capacity. So for instance, if I have a school that can house 1,000 students and we have 700 students, 700 divided by 1,000 would say a 70% seat utilization for those schools. Next is school grade, the 5-year average. The next data point is enrollment concern. So on this is taking that 70% or that seat utilization percentage and looking for schools that are below 55% and identifying those schools. The next data point considered is there sufficient adjacent capacity in schools? So for instance, if I have an elementary school that we're looking to close, are the surrounding elementary schools of that school able to hold the capacity of those students? So if I have a 400-seat student elementary school and we have to close it, can the surrounding schools absorb those 400 students? And so that's something that we have to take into consideration. The next is historical significance. Give you an example of historical significance. Here we are sitting in Fort Lauderdale High School. Fort Lauderdale High School is one of the first high schools in the district, I believe 1917, I believe, or something like that. I believe is the start point for Fort Lauderdale High School. And then we have other schools throughout the district that have historical significance. On March 20th, there was a workshop presentation, and as part of the backup of that presentation was all of the historical significant schools that were identified that would receive under that data point a yes, versus other schools that may not have as much historical significance. Maybe they were only, they're only built in the last 25 years, something of that nature. The last two are school grade concerns, looking a little bit further than just the 5-year trend, looking at any schools that are F, Ds, or very low C schools. And the final is the age of facility. Are there schools that are below, or are there buildings on the facility that are pre-1960 buildings? So on to the superintendent's considerations. And I'm going to be going cluster of zones by cluster of zones. So the first cluster of zones are the Everglades, Flanagan, and West Broward zones. So for those 3 zones, here are the schools under consideration. I'm going to start in the middle bottom with Silver Shores Elementary. Silver Shores Elementary is an under-enrolled school sitting at a little over 300 students with a capacity of 800 students total. The consideration there is to repurpose that school, and as you've heard Dr. Hepburn in his opening comments talk about attracting back students to our district. The southwest portion of our district has a heavy charter presence, and it is something that we need to hone up and compete against the charters that are out there for our students. Doing so, Silver Shores would turn from a traditional bounded K-5 school to a full choice, and I'm just going to explain exactly when we say full choice, and I think many of you in the audience just looking at T-shirts understand what full choice is. It's a school that you apply for, and in order to gain acceptance into it, it is not bounded by any boundaries whatsoever. So to turn Silver Shores into an unbounded full choice, however, K-8 grade reconfiguration, once again, as I mentioned, out in the Southwest, many of the charters that are very attractive to our families are K-8 charters, so we are looking to change Silver Shores from a K-5 to a K-8. To do so, we would have to take the students that are bounded to Silver Shores and absorb those students into Silver Lakes, Silver Palms, and also in Panther Run. The other consideration there in the top right is Pines Middle. Pines Middle is a traditional 6-8 middle school. It houses a little over 600 students, but the capacity of that school is close to 1,700 students. So it's very under-enrolled. And once again, sits in that area that has a heavy charter presence. In this case, instead of looking at a grade reconfiguration of a K-8, we're looking at it actually going and creating a 6 through 12. For those, as you heard Principal Brown mention the success at Lauderdale High School, we also have Millennium Collegiate Academy 6 through 12 up in the Tamarack area. And that school just has been named the #2 high school in the state of Florida. So to replicate the program that's there, we're looking to bring a program of similar nature down into the southwest portion of our district and turn Pines Middle into a Pines 6 through 12. The difference there, if it is not necessarily a full choice, the boundary for 6 through 8 would remain. However, to go to the 9 through 12 program, students would need to qualify and apply for that portion of the Collegiate Academy, much like they do currently at Millennium. Dr. Hepburn.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Strauss. So, as mentioned before, this is one of those areas where we're not short of students. There's numerous students in this area. They're just not exercising the option to come to BCPS schools. So we have to present something different. We have to compete. So we're trying to implement more innovating programs, structures that parents and students like, so we can actually regain the students that we've lost over the years, which creates reoccurring funding for our schools versus a one-time option of possibly closing the school. So we have more students coming in, that increases our funding, and it's reoccurring year after year.
The next cluster of zones is down in the southeast portion of the district. That's the Hallandale, Hollywood Hills, and South Broward zones. The impacted schools in those three zones are as follows. I'm starting off on the bottom right with Hollywood Central Elementary. Hollywood Central Elementary is a traditional bounded K through 5 elementary school. About 5 years ago, the residents living in those boundaries asked the school district to convert it into a K-8 and adding 6th, 7th, and 8th grade onto it. At that time, the district did not elect to do so. However, the consideration now is to take that into consideration and create a Hollywood Central into a K-8. The also reason there, just like the Southwest, in the Southeast, there are a number of charter schools that are right around that central Hollywood corridor. Young Circle, literally 2 blocks away from the school, sits a K-8 school, and a couple down the road, there's a couple others, K-8s down the road, both north of it and to the west of Hollywood Central. In doing so, and I just want to mention some enrollment numbers. In doing so, at Olson Middle School, which is an under-enrolled school, sitting with a little about 600 students with a capacity of a little over 1,100 students. However, In the Hollywood Central boundary area, there's a total of 330 students that would be bounded to Olson Middle School. However, out of those 330 students, only 75 of those students elect to go to Olson Middle School. So that's about 255 that elect to go to most likely the 3 K-8 charters that we spoke of. And we truly believe we could attract back those students to our Hollywood Central because, as I mentioned, 5 years ago, the residents, that's what they were asking for. So in doing so, the consideration for Olson Middle School, because as I mentioned, they have about a population of 600, a little over 1,100 capacity. Those 75 students, if they choose to go back towards Hollywood Central, would further reduce Olson Middle School. And between Olson, Addix, and McNichol Middle School, there's a grand total of 3,600 seats capacity with only 1,800 students. So the need for 3 middle schools does not exist down there. So the consideration is to look at Olson Middle School and potentially close that school. However, repurpose it into a district admin site, and that also would entail potentially taking staff that exists over at Arthur Ashe off of Sunrise and 95 and move staff that exists there possibly to, say, the Olson site, which would free up our programming at Arthur Ashe, which is targeted at our adult education as well as our technical dual enrollment for our high school students. So it would allow for more programming for those students and adult students. In doing so with Olson Middle School closing, we would then absorb those students to Addix Middle. Some would go to Hollywood Central, as I mentioned, and the remaining would go to McNichol Middle. The next school under consideration is in the middle right, Oak Ridge Elementary. Oak Ridge Elementary is a school with about 450 students. It is not necessarily under-enrolled. It sits about 75% seat utilization. However, it does have a school grade of a D, and it has had a D for the past couple of years, and it's bounced between D and C for a number of years. In addition to that, some of the buildings on that campus were built prior to 1960 as well, and there is definitely a cost and expense for the district to consider if they wanted to take the existing buildings from the pre-1960s and rebuild a brand new facility, so it does come with a cost. So therefore, in taking Oak Ridge Elementary and closing that, those students would be absorbed by Bethune Elementary, Hollywood Hills Elementary, and Colbert Elementary. In addition to those 3 schools, Sterling Elementary and Collins, there would be some adjustments to some boundaries there just to shore things up. Give you an example. There's students that live in Collins Elementary's boundary, but they are closer to Sterling Elementary, so there'd be some adjustments in the boundaries to even things out to make sure we could absorb all students and better utilize all our campuses as much as possible. Dr. Hepburn?
Yep, so just to add, this is one of those mixed options in this specific group of innovation zones. Number one, maximizing our utilization of space. As Mr. Strauss said, we have about 1,800, not more than 1,800
Right.
middle school seats.
36.
3,600 middle school seats, and little less than 50% of those seats are occupied. Open seats equals paying additional costs for operation of schools, AC, lights, all of those things, and it takes away funding from kids and opportunity from kids. So closing Oak Ridge Elementary, utilizing the space that campus sits on, and partnering or doing some public-private partnership opportunities, workforce housing, whatever some other options may be. Also, giving the community what they've been asking for years for Hollywood Central, transitioning that into a K through 8. And some rebounding of other schools in elementary to make sure that we're actually maximizing our utilization of space for those campuses. This is a area where the growth of students is very minimal, so we have to figure out how we can maximize our utilization of space in this area.
The next set of zones are the Dillard and South Plantation zones. The impacted schools on this slide, I'm going to begin kind of in the middle there with Broward Estates Elementary. The consideration for Broward Estates Elementary is to close the school, and let me explain some of the data points there. Broward Estates Elementary has about 250 total students. It is definitely under-enrolled. In addition, as I mentioned, their school grades have been definitely low, Ds, and sometimes bouncing up to a C, then back to a D. And you'll hear Dr. Hepburn probably talk a little bit about yo-yo effect in a short second. The consideration there is to take the students, absorb them with the local elementary surrounding it, Plantation Elementary, MLK, Westwood Heights. In addition, there is a need for an early learning center in this population. We successfully, many years ago, converted down in Hallandale Beach, a Gulfstream Middle School at the time, into a Gulfstream Early Learning Academy. And we have over 14 classes there now for our 0 to 4-year-old future students. And the more we can control and better prepare our future students to be kindergarten ready and first grade ready, the more success they're going to have through their continuum of K to 12 education. So we want to definitely consider Early Learning Center at Broward Estates. In addition, I want to mention two other points on this slide. Sunland Park Elementary, which is over there on the bottom right, or middle right, I shall say, currently is a K-3 school. It used to be a traditional K-5 elementary, but because of school grades, the state required us to do something, and we changed it from a K-5 into a K-3. At this point in time, Sunland's had a great turnaround, been very successful, and the feeling is to revert it back to being a K-5 with the traditional boundary. Over at Dr. Martin Luther King Montessori Academy, there, besides part of the boundary change for Broward Estates, the determination is we've looked at the Montessori program, and the consideration is to take away that Montessori program. As it is a traditional bounded school, there are families that do not want their children to be part of the Montessori program, so it's very difficult to have a full school Montessori with potentially 50% of the families not wanting a Montessori program, so the consideration is to remove that Montessori program from MLK. Dr. Hepburn?
Yes. So, in the closure of Broward Estates, this is a great opportunity for the district to pivot to address, one of my goals is to make sure kids are reading before they leave first grade. And to do that, we have to start with our young kids and partnering, creating some P3 opportunities. When I say P3, public-private partnerships, to kind of leverage opportunities where we can create an early learning center focused on our 0 to 4-year-old students to prop them up, and also some additional opportunities on that campus that will benefit that community. In the same vein, evaluating Plantation Elementary, MLK Elementary, and Thurgood Marshall Elementary's existing programs, and really working with those communities and staff members to make sure they have the right program in those schools that's going to create sustainability. As Mr. Strauss said, some of the schools we have, they go up and down when it comes to student performance, and we want to end that. We want to create something sustainable, good programs in those schools, so we can actually see the students progress upward year after year, and not a dip and a up and a dip and a up. So
the next set of zones are the Fort Lauderdale and Stranahan zones. So the impacted schools, as you see on the slide, and I'll start with Virginia Schumann Young Elementary. The consideration there is to repurpose, include it with a boundary change and a program change.
we hear you. Let them finish, though. If we can let them finish. Let them finish, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. So the consideration is to take the Montessori program that is at Virginia Schumann Young and shift it over to Bennett Elementary.
Let them finish, please, and then we'll have an opportunity afterwards, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. So in addition to transferring the Montessori program over to Bennett Elementary, Virginia Schumann Young then would turn into a bounded elementary school for the neighborhood students. The consideration is there due to the fact that a lot of students that live in that neighborhood attend private schools, and we believe that we can attract back students to our public school.
let them finish, please, and then we'll get some feedback. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm good. So, and
Let
so
them finish,
with
please.
Bennett Elementary, that would turn into a full-choice Montessori program, and that, as many of you are aware, sits adjacent to Sunrise Middle School, which enables us to have a K-8 Montessori campus between the two schools. Over to the bottom left is North Fork Elementary. North Fork Elementary, which previously was a F-rated school 2 years ago, subsequently now a C school. The determination for North Fork Elementary is to repurpose it into a full-choice commuter school. And once again, full choice being that you have to apply to get in, but a commuter in this case would be no transportation would be provided to North Fork Elementary. Parents that maybe are working downtown, want to come off Broward Boulevard, it's literally right off Broward Boulevard and I-95, can come off Broward Boulevard, drop their students off, go to work, be done with work, come back, pick their childs up, and take them home. So North Fork would turn into a full choice commuter school for that, which would be a K-5 experience. Also, opportunities to work with nonprofits to build interesting curriculum choices. And I'm gonna also mention that those considerations totally would require any sort of boundary change to a Northside Elementary, a Walker Elementary, and then obviously with the VSY option, a little bit on the Harbordale Elementary. Dr. Hepburn?
Yep. No, so thank you for letting them finish, audience. I appreciate that. So the light is kind of blinding, so, but I know what I definitely see in the crowd, and that's a lot of blue shirts. All right, let me finish. I definitely want to say your feedback has been heard. I've been getting those numerous emails and phone calls and all of those things too. And your advocacy matters. We've been receiving feedback also from your board member, and she's been advocating for the same things that you guys are advocating for. In addition, some community members have really stepped up, and I've learned a lot about the history of VSY and the surrounding area and how this school became to be what it is today and very successful. And I'm going to leave you with. Oh, let me finish. I appreciate the advocacy, but let me remind the crowd here present and also that may be watching. These are nothing more than considerations. This is the purpose of the town halls and having conversations, receiving feedback from the surveys and from the open mic sessions. These are considerations that we will we will continue to refine before we present to the school board on May 14th. So your feedback is valuable. So I opened up and said it's a gift. We appreciate you giving that feedback. And also, I just want to warn the crowds or the viewers who plan to attend the future town halls, just to make sure that we're consistent and getting consistent feedback. We're not going to change the deck because it's not fair to keep changing it along the way, right? So we're going to keep the deck the same. So you're going to see the same information for the next 3 town halls, but all of the feedback that we receive, it is definitely being utilized to continue our refinement before we get to the March 14th workshop. So I just want to let you know that we're committed to make sure we're listening to everybody. In addition, just for this slide, just to say a couple of tidbits on this slide, we've been trying to work with the Museum of Discovery and Science for Norfolk to offer some different programmatic opportunities there. Also, the students within that neighborhood will get priority choice for that school also. And then the same with Walker Elementary and Northside Elementary. They do suffer from what I call the yo-yo effect. Performance goes up, performance goes down. And we're going to go in there and evaluate those programs with the faculty and staff and community just to make sure we're putting things in there that create sustainable performance and not up and down performance with our kids. All right, Ms. Strauss.
Thank you. The next 2 zones are Deerfield Beach and Monarch zones. In these zones, there are no considerations in regards to the schools themselves because enrollment is not a situation in the northeast portion of the district. However, the 3 schools that are identified do have potential partnerships, public-private partnerships, and I'm going to let Dr. Hepburn speak a little bit towards that.
Yep, so this is actually one of the areas that we do have a growing population of families and students moving into the Deerfield Beach and Monarch Zone, specifically Deerfield Beach and Pompano area. And so not much change here besides working with some public-private partnership opportunities. Deerfield Beach Elementary, there's a historic building on campus, and there's a private company that's attempting to work with us to enhance that building. And Quiet Waters and Tedder Elementary, there's some opportunity with some specific land use that might equate to workforce housing or other opportunities that may be beneficial to the community, our staff members, and also our school community.
The next slide is the last slide under the superintendent's considerations, and this slide was shown on the April 16th board meeting in the superintendent's update. And this shows variety of properties that we have. The first 2 properties are properties that we actually have people in working. The first is the school board headquarters, and the second is typically named TSSC Annex, which is located off of Oakland and University. Both those buildings, the consideration is, whether we can have a potential sale or lease of that. It's something that the superintendent will consider. The next set of properties that are below it are vacant properties. It's just land. And so therefore, in order to take some of those fundings to utilize for a variety of capital and other projects, as well as looking at our budget overall, these properties are all on the table, and I'm going to let the superintendent speak a little bit further on those.
Yep, so these are opportunities that we can leverage to actually increase our revenue. We have a lot of district priorities, and also we have an issue where we have a not so stable fund balance, and we have to get that fund balance up. So these are opportunities that we'll leverage based on board decision about how we can increase our fund balance, how we can address some district priorities. It's pretty much, we're in a state where if 1 or 2 big emergencies and we're in the red. And so our fund balance is going to ensure that we're solvent, that we're financially stable, and we're able to do the work of the district without worrying about how financially unstable we are.
So the next couple of slides, I just want to remind, the previous slides were all superintendent considerations. This next set of slides are not, and I want to repeat, not the superintendent's consideration. It is just taking the redesigning the school district from a different viewpoint of, do we have 1 seat for every 1 child, and utilizing our space to the best capacity possible. So if we have 200,000 students, do we have 200,000 seats, which we know we have more, but can we adjust our schools to then create a 1-to-1 ratio, student to seat? And in here, on the table that you see behind me, or above me, I guess, shall we say, you'll see it's broken down between elementary, middle, and high. And I just want to kind of give a little bit of details to it. For these schools right here, the schools that are not included, we have non-traditional schools, which are some ESE centers, which are some behavior change centers, which are adult technical colleges, as well as, for instance, like College Academy and Broward Virtual. So those schools are not part of this mix, and also our 4 Nova schools are not part of the mix. However, if we just look at every other school in the district, we have 85,550 elementary students, and the average seats available at those schools, once again, we might have a school, elementary school with 1,000 seats, we might have one with 600 seats, but the average is 814. When you take those 2 numbers and you take the 85,000 divided by 814, you get 105 schools. That means we need exactly, based off of this pure number calculation, 105 schools in order for every K-5 student to have a seat available for them. We currently have 137 schools, which means that we could potentially close up to 32 schools and still have a 1-to-1 ratio for our students. In middle school, doing the same formula, you see where it's 29 schools would be needed, and we have 37, so there's 8 potential schools that we could look at closing. And finally, even at the high school, there would only be a need of 25, but we have 27, which would be 2. The totality of that is 42 schools could be closed, and we still would have 1 seat for every child at our different levels, K through 12. However, we don't want to be blind to what that might mean impact-wise. And what I do want to say, for those, if we were to reduce to 42, and I want to say it one more time, these are not the superintendent considerations. The however is, when you're looking at it from that perspective, there are no full-choice schools. So Pompano Beach High School, which is a full-choice school, a VSY, a Beachside Montessori, those would no longer exist. They would become traditional schools because we would have to rebounder, as it says on the second bullet, redraw all school boundaries and feeder patterns. Also, the problem, we would not be able to offer magnet programs throughout because magnet programs are there to attract students to the school, but we would not have seats in those schools to therefore allow people to come to. Another point would be reassignments. We would not be able to reassign students. And that's not just because of a family that might want to have it close to their workplace or close to their grandparents, or even a teacher that wants to be within their feeder zone to have their student attend the elementary school, maybe their high school teacher. Those opportunities would not be afforded because by closing all 42 and having a 1-to-1 ratio, there just will not be seats. You'd literally be sitting like at 99.9% seat utilization. And what that will wind up doing is potentially increase the loss of student enrollment because you as a parent might say, I want my child to attend this school, they cannot attend it, well, I'm gonna go take it somewhere else and go to a different school other than what you're offering me. Dr. Hepburn.
Yeah, so some of the benefits of this, of course, you have all the schools at high capacity. You actually recapture tens of millions of dollars. But some of the drawbacks of this is you do limit choice for students because your schools are at high capacity and you don't have the room to really attract more students for specific programs. So let's just add that.
So now, as I mentioned the last couple slides, the slide in front of you is the timeline. So we started last Monday, April 29th, we did 3 town halls last week, and as Dr. Hepburn mentioned, we have 1 tonight and 3 more the rest of this week through Thursday. That leads up to a May 14th board workshop. The board workshop will start at 5 p.m. It will take place at Plantation High School. I'll repeat that again. The May 14th board workshop will take place starting at 5 p.m. at Plantation High School. At that workshop, as you heard Dr. Hepburn say earlier, that's when he takes these considerations, all the feedback, puts it into his recommendations. They go to the board as recommendations for a workshop, but I just want to be very clear to the audience as well as the listeners on the live stream, is at a board workshop, the board cannot take any action. It is a workshop for them to give feedback, provide feedback to the superintendent, and then the superintendent will take that feedback, hone those recommendations potentially to ultimately bring back on June 18th, which is a school board meeting, for the board to make a final determination or vote or board action to take place there. Whatever they decide there on June 18th will not go into effect for the 24-25 school year. 24-25 school year would be a planning year as well as a transition year. The decision will go into effect for the 25-26 school year. And I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Hepburn.
Yep, so coming up next, Dr. Wanza is going to transition us to provide feedback in 2 ways. Number one, there's going to be a QR code for a survey, 3 multiple choice responses and 1 open-ended response. Like I said earlier, feedback is a gift. It's very valuable to us. We look at the survey results. We especially look at the open-ended question for additional information provided by the public about some things to consider as we continue to refine our considerations into recommendations. So please, please, please participate in the survey. Also, if you feel like it, you can also step up to the podium too, or the mics, but please take that survey. Public that's here and public that's online, because we do look at the information and it does assist us. I know we've already received a lot of email feedback too, and that's being considered as well. Thank you.
So you have in front of you, as well as there's some placards, some individuals with some placards to be a little bit closer to your camera phones, to go ahead and do the QR code so you can participate in the online survey. And we're going to give a couple minutes to allow for you to do the online survey, and then Dr. Wanza will lead the rest.
So, hold on. That's what I'm going to respond to. Question number 4 asks you, which do you prefer, the superintendent's considerations or a full district?
What's 4? Or third?
Excuse me?
A third.
So what they're saying is they should have been on either.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I understand. The survey was not changed from the first night. If you could just kindly, if you prefer, if you had to choose, however, wait, listen. No, we will not, because let me tell you why we are not going to use it against you. Because when you get to the next question, where it is open-ended, that is where you can say, if you so choose, I had to answer one or the other, but I do not prefer either. What my feedback is, and then that is open-ended, and we will receive all of that.
But you can't go past. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can't go past the third one. Yeah, should have been a disqualifier or not answer it at all. Yeah.
So what we will do is we will now open the mics and we will receive your verbal feedback. If you will, please ma'am and please sir, go ahead and line up at either one.
So we should,
Thank you.
Yeah, because they're
We would ask,
it should be a disqualifier. So I don't like either option.
we would ask. We are now going to begin the verbal feedback session. As we begin to take, if we could please start to lower our voices so that we can hear all feedback, because we certainly want to hear all feedback. As we begin to receive verbal feedback, I just want to inform you of a few things. Thank you. I would like to inform you of a few things. The first thing is the presentation that you saw is online. It is at Broward Schools/redefining. The entire presentation is there. I did see some people trying to take pictures with their phones. The full presentation is there, as well as videos from the previous night's town halls, and this one will be available as well. The mics are going to turn on. We ask that when you hear feedback or comments that you appreciate and you support, in lieu of clapping, we would ask that you please give us your verbal affirmations, please. The clock has been set for 1 minute per speaker. We have long lines, and we want to hear everyone. So I will start, ma'am, with you, and then we will alternate mics. Yes, ma'am, please tell us your name, and once you say your name, that's when we'll begin the clock.
Hello, my name is Esther Gold, and I sit not only on the SAC of this school, but also on Ms. Brown's personal advisory committee. And I also went to Virginia Schumann Young, and I absolutely think that moving the magnet to Bennett is a great idea. I think moving the magnet enhances students' attendance. I think it gives it a wonderful opportunity to blossom. I think Virginia Schumann Young will stay a wonderful school. To me, this meeting is not about a better Bennett or a better VSY. It's about a better district, and that's what everyone here should be concerned with every student who is involved in this. Moving the magnet, moves students into an opportunity to transition straight to Sunrise Middle School, and just enhances Montessori as a whole, which is something this district has always, celebrated. And I think moving the magnet to Bennett is a wonderful idea for all students involved.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir?
My name is Peter Salvato. I'm a parent of 2 children at VSY. I suppose I don't have anything for or against redistricting or district considerations. However, how I do feel is that for this particular cohort of children who began their primary education in the midst of COVID and lockdown, to have such a profound disruption to their social, emotional education in the first years of their education, only to be followed, bookended with this suggestion at the other end of their primary education, is going to disrupt and remove critical years for their social emotional education and development. And particular children who have needs for consistency, reliability, and predictability are losing the teachers, the building, the staff, the other students that they have come to rely on in the shorter time that they've had.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir?
My name is Matthew Sauerwald. I want to start off by thanking the school board for its service, welcoming our new superintendent, and acknowledging that this school district has some difficult choices to make. All that being said, I am troubled by the current school proposal, and I'm shocked by the lack of detail and data that's being put forth to support it. Broward County is the 6th largest school district in the nation, and instead of putting forth multiple proposals for us to consider with competing options and ideas, you have put forth a singular proposal that's nothing more than a PowerPoint and a sales pitch. I've lived in Victoria Park for over 15 years. I have 3 kids that attend VSY, and let me tell you, look around. VSY isn't a building, it's not a facility, it's not even just a school. It is a community. And what you are talking about doing is fundamentally altering that community. So if all you got is a sales pitch, I got 4 words for you. Leave our school alone.
Thank you. Ma'am?
My name is Anna Baruch. I am an advocate for my 2 daughters. I'm a proud mom for an autistic girl, that she was welcomed with open arms into BSY. She has grown tremendously, not just because it was a community, it's a family. And this, instead of just chopping the school down and putting it into pieces somewhere else, it should be a model to other schools. It's been successful for so many years. A grade A school. Why you took it as a model that other schools as us? That's why people fight to get in. I'm proud to be a BSY parent. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
My name is Sarah Gold, and I have 2 children that are proud graduates of BSY and are now attending Sunrise Middle and Fort Lauderdale High School. I hate public speaking, but I felt like it was important to stand up. My children were lucky enough to be granted a seat at BSY. I think the magic of the magnet school, of an all-magnet school, is that all the parents are engaged and invested in their children's education, as you can see by everyone that's shown up here tonight. I would like to see Bennett be given an opportunity to become an all-magnet school and increase their enrollment. I think that it makes sense to have the magnet elementary next to Montessori Middle School. I acknowledge that there are a lot of difficult logistics to consider with this particular plan, and retaining our teachers and making them feel valued should be a paramount when making this decision.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir?
My name is Sam Houle. I am a lifelong public school student, graduated from Virginia Schumann Young as the student council president, went to Sunrise Middle in their magnet school program, and graduated from Fort Lauderdale High School in the top 1% as a nationally ranked debater. I attribute my successes as a student and as a person to the instruction and the education and the community that developed me from Virginia Schumann Young when I was 5 to 10 years old. I still carry that with me every single day, and that is why I am back at VSY teaching currently with my students behind me and the parents behind me to break down the bastion of Montessori teaching in this county is appalling. We have so many options to move forward with. The fact that there is only one proposal that we must choose between, or 2, that is not enough. We have the ability, as we have said, as the 6th largest school county in the nation, to have better options at hand. VSY has an A rating, has maintained that for years. If you were to break it up, you'd be breaking up something that is not only dear to me, but my friends and people of this county, that holds up something that we cherish dearly. Do not break this apart.
Thank you. Sir?
My name is Dr. Dennis Leota. I have no children in the school system, but I am a taxpayer. I don't have any allegiance to any one zone. I'm here for all the children. And what I see here is a bunch of smoke and mirrors and smoke being blown up my tuchus, and I don't understand any of this. I've done my research. You people are all just trying to CYA. This has been a long-standing problem. You've known about this for years, but yet you've done nothing. And now you come to all of us and tell us this is your plan. Well, it's not a good plan. Where's the friggin' data? Where is all of the evidence to support your lovely, lovely slideshow? It is nowhere to be seen. It's not on your website. It is nowhere. You need to go and reconfigure all of this, right? Because all I've seen is that you've paid out severance pay, that you're $30-something million in debt. You owe $88 million to the charter schools. So I'm holding all of you in the administration to task right now. And to the board, I am holding you because you have the fiduciary responsibility of the administration.
Sir,
and if something is not being done, we as the taxpayers of Broward County will move forward.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
Hello. My name is Naibis Grimon. I'm an immigrant from Venezuela. And my son is just starting kindergarten in Virginia Schumann Young. I live in Dania Beach, actually. And as you know, Dania Beach doesn't have many good options for elementary school. But what I see in your proposal is that after this, I'm not having any option for my kids but private schools and charter schools that maybe you are going to remove in the second option that you just gave us in this survey. So I really appreciate you take the time to reconsider this, to take this energy to provide feedback, to give you information in order to generate more ideas that are going to be for the benefits of these kids that are going to be the future. The cities can increase. It's not a matter of saying 42 schools has to be closed. It's a matter of saying, what can I do in my city to bring people to my city and make this a better city? That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am?
Hi, Nikki Blazek. I come to you as a Victoria Park resident and a mother of 2 boys at VSY. VSY has been a blessing to our family and many others in this room. My youngest has always struggled. After years of struggling to catch up to his peers, I'm happy to report that he's finally found a home at VSY. He's been given an opportunity that has radically changed his educational life. Our goal as a society should be to take care of our most vulnerable, and if we can't help a struggling 5-year-old who loves sharks and Hot Wheels, what are we even doing? I plead with those in your position to please go back to the drawing board. Let's study what's been refined and improved over almost 30 years at VSY, and let's try to replicate it, not tear it down. Please think of the many families just like mine who have everything to lose.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My
Good
name is
evening.
Kristen. My name is also Dr. Biggie. I'm a VSY mom, pediatrician, and advocate for all children. And every day I sit in the exam room with kids, and one of the most important questions I ask them is, how's school going? Do you like it? And when their faces light up and they say, I love school, and I'm really good at math, I have to know, where do you go to school? And they tell me, VSY Montessori. They'll even sing it for you. You guys know it, right? VSY Montessori, they all chant it. So when it was my turn to put my kids in school, VSY was my top choice. And I got in. I sat on the waiting list twice, but eventually we got in. VSY is cultured, diverse, unique, it's integrated, it's a wonderful public school. And my dream tonight is that the school board wants every school to be like VSY. We want VSY to be the norm, not the exception, and we want more kids to have this experience.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I don't need the mic. I'm loud enough. I can project because I went to a magnet school for elementary. I got stuck at Rickards Middle School, and I got stuck at Fort Lauderdale Northeast High School. I'm sorry. My children did not go to Rickards. My children did not go to Northeast. I have 2 here at Fort Lauderdale. By the way, our lovely principal, Miss Brown, who didn't have to go through security and came in the back door because she's the principal and she can open her door, but that's fine. Follow the money. $335,000 a year to sit up here and say, let's redefine our schools, let's close our schools, is ridiculous. Pay our teachers, put programs back in schools, and make Broward County somewhere we want to have our children. My sister taught in Broward County and left because she could not afford to teach in Broward County. 90% of your teachers have to have 2 jobs to live. How many of you up here on this stage have more than 1 job right now? Follow the money.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Hi, my name is Amanda, and you have stated that one of your main goals is to recapture lost enrollment. Well, my family is a perfect example of the enrollment that VSY did recapture. I am Dr. Chalfant. I went to private school in Broward County, and I never was considered for public school, never, not in Broward County. And when I went to put my kids in school, at first I was thinking, no, private school. And then I toured VSY, and I picked VSY. I had my choice of schools in this county, and I picked VSY. You cannot assume that you can just move it to another facility and not break it. Bennett was started in 1952, and in 2007 it was slated for replacement. The school, it takes an investment in teachers, in their education. Montessori is expensive. It takes an investment in the facilities, a prepared environment. When you break this school, you will lose recaptured enrollment and have less money.
Thank you.
I'm Ireland Sokoloff, and I go here. And I know this is not one of your decisions, but if you close down the magnet schools, you're gonna, I'm trying to find the word. You're gonna make the schools that don't have the magnet schools and more filled up than it can handle. 1,000, in my first period today, they were talking about it, and 1,000 more kids will go to this school where we don't have room for. There's already a bus shortage, there's a teacher shortage. You need to be paying the teachers, you need to be paying the bus drivers. Sorry.
Do
doing great.
And you need to reconsider closing these schools because they're good schools. You need to take the schools who are D's and F's and make them A's and B's. You need to take the money you're earning and the money you're going to do to tear down the schools and move the students into redoing the schools. Make them better than what they are. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Tell us your name, please.
I'm Sativa.
Can we take the mic down for them?
I'm Sativa
Wait,
Young.
start it over.
I'm Sativa Young, and I'm Catalina Grace Farnsworth.
What do you think about them changing your school?
I don't want it. Leave the school alone.
Do you guys like your school?
Yeah.
Yeah? Made lots of friends at school?
Yeah.
What about your teachers?
We like them.
Do you think anybody
Pay
can teach you
them.
better than that?
No.
So
Leave the school. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Gilbert Crispin. A couple of things. The survey's problematic. I heard the superintendent, he wasn't even certain that question number 4, you couldn't put neither. That's a problem. The second thing, if you are removing the Montessori designation at VSY and you're moving it elsewhere, you're saying that you're trying to capture these phantom students. How many people have spoken to these phantom students? How many people have been in private schools and talked to their parents? How many people have gotten calls that left the district and moved into these charter schools? That's the information you need to know to actually get to the root of the issue. And then if you think that you're going to remove the designation here and that these 800, 900, 1,000 people are going to keep their kids at the school, you have a problem. You're basically doing exactly what you're saying you're trying to fix. It makes no sense whatsoever. So we have 12 seconds left. I think the biggest thing is this needs to be rethought. I think both options are not good ones. I know a lot of work goes in. I'm a former district employee. I know what happens behind the scenes. This is not working. We need to have deeper conversations.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ronit McCauley. I am the mother of Catalina, who just wanted to get up and say her part. So I have one daughter at VSY. I have 3 children at Sunrise Middle School, and I am actually a resident also of Poinciana Heights. Although I think making Bennett a better school is absolutely necessary, this is not the way to do it. Montessori takes a lot of time, which will not be afforded to the teachers to get their certifications. Money for supplies and the activities they do, which again, most of the teachers buy things themselves. You can't transfer that. Along with that, what happens to our kids that are already established at this school and now we have to reapply to a different school? Why does their education get disrupted to make other people's better? Why can't we just make theirs better while continuing to support them from our already established program? We're able to help as VSY and we're able to help as Sunrise, but it has to be a team effort and you can't dismantle something that's established that you're trying to copy while trying to copy it.
Thank you. Thank you. Peter. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Mandy Bartle, and I'm a proud parent of 2 young pioneers. I live across the street from Bennett Elementary School, and I choose to keep the Choice Montessori program at Virginia Schumann Young. I'm a community advocate. I've spent my entire career trying to build community well-being, and that's why I choose VSY. It is the only school, the only elementary school with the diversity that reflects our community, and it continues, in the words of Dr. Hepburn, to be a sustained A school. It's proof that people from any background, any income, any diversity can thrive. And I would encourage you guys to go to school for a day and see for yourself. You can see all the blue surrounding you, and that's because it's not just a school, it's a community. And I ask you and I beg you as a parent, do not treat our children like a line item that can be moved from one school to another. I want you to instead, I have to say, as an advocate, I have been insulted with the lack of transparency in this process. There has been none of the criteria identified fits Virginia Schumann Young, and I ask and urge you to remove it from all possible consideration. Again, I'm insulted by the survey that does not
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Sasha Duvernay. I'm a forward Broward County School employee, and I also have a son at VSY. And the decision to move VSY's location is unfortunate. Some decisions are made based on adult preference and not what is in the best interest of the students. These students went through a tough time during the pandemic, forced to stay at home, some for 2 years. There is so much to talk about in Broward County Schools, social-emotional learning, and how to support students. Students at VSY, including my 5-year-old son, are settled and comfortable. These students have a routine and they know the school. Now adults propose to uproot things. This is not in the best interest of the students. Students should come first in any decision that you make. VSY is a high-performing school and should not be on the table for any proposed change. Please leave VSY alone. Students can continue to flourish academically, emotionally, and socially.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Alicia Wolski, and I give my minute
So we're
to
not
Dr.
donating
Strauss.
time tonight. We have not donated time for any town hall. You have 1 minute. Hello, Dr. Strauss.
Good evening.
Hi.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Strauss, and I'm here this evening as a community member residing in the Bennett community. I'm also the former, now retired, principal at Virginia Schumann Young Elementary. Having lived in the community for the past 35 years, having served as principal at VSY for 10 years, and having been the cadre director for the Fort Lauderdale Zone Schools, I feel that I have valuable insight into the overlapping proposals for Bennett and VSY. In life, when something is working, we don't dismantle it. We work to improve it and to make it even better. As the old saying goes, don't reinvent the wheel. VSY is and has been working well for many years. It is a success for many reasons, including its Montessori program, its involved parent community, and the committed, specially trained professionals at the school. To dismantle VSY and repurpose it as a neighborhood boundary school does not make sense. There is no waiting list of community students trying to attend VSY, so changing it won't solve a problem, it will just create a new one.
Thank you, Dr. Strauss. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, sirs. My name is Sarah Demetrius. I'm an attorney, but I have 2 boys at this wonderful school, and it is so hard to not get emotional talking about the impact that VSY has had because our kids are constantly learning real-life applications. That is the Montessori way. Neither plan is acceptable to us. You all need to go back to the table, come up with a change. The words out of your own mouths was to maximize our utilization. If that is truly the goal, maximizing utilization, this is what VSY encompasses. We are using our staff, our children, to max capacity through the Montessori program. Dr. Hepburn, you said that you wanted sustainable performance. That is VSY. There is no need to change this program. Mr. Strauss, your words were to replicate. Bring a program similar in nature. Bring our program to another school. Bring our program to every school in the district. It works.
Thank you, ma'am. Hi. Hold on 1 second. We'll have. Can we help? There you go.
I'm Scarlett Maria George, and I'm a 2nd grader at Virginia Schumann Young Elementary. I want to keep this school because I want the next generations of kids to have the experience I have had here for the past 3 years. I love all the teachers and how they help us be smart. I don't want people to go to a different school just because they don't live in the same neighborhood. I want to keep this program Montessori for everyone, and I think it will be hard to move to a different home. I want the kids who come here to meet new friends and have a lot of fun with those friends. It will cause disruption if 724 families will have to move to a different home and school.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
All right, good evening, honorable members of the Broward County School Board. My name is Tara. I'm a Lake Ridge citizen. Also, I'm a Broward County public school former student, born and raised in Coral Springs. I'm also a voter and a concerned parent. My connection to VSY runs deep. My husband was actually one of the first students to attend VSY, and it's also our anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
It's always been our dream to enroll our own children there. And watching our child, River, who's sitting in the front, grow in this nurturing environment, in the same nurturing environment that my husband was in. It's a credible impact that VSY has had on her education and personal development. VSY is more than just a school. As many have said, it's a community where children are nurtured and encouraged to reach their full potential. The Montessori program at VSY has been a cornerstone of this community for decades, providing students with a unique and effective educational experience. Removing the Montessori program from VSY would not only deprive current and future Broward students of this vulnerable opportunity, but would also disrupt the entire education ecosystem that's been carefully cultivated for over the past 31 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alex Sorensen, and I've been going to VSY ever since I was 3 years old. VSY is an amazing school, and all students should deserve to go to it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Britt Dunkel, and I am here representing my family, my husband, who was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, and my two kids, my oldest, who's a first grader at VSY, and my youngest, Evie, here, who's starting pre-K in the fall. And I wanted to say, first of all, I recognize how complex of an issue and situation this is that you're having to deal with. But this is not the right answer, right? I am asking the board members to please leave VSY intact. As you've heard before, this is not just a school, it's a community. It is one of the most diverse schools. It is equitable, it's inclusive of all individuals of all backgrounds, and everyone is thriving there, including my son. It is a top performing school. So on top of that, it's thriving, and it should be a model for other schools. This program is disruptive, or this proposal, and the alternative you're providing is not a real alternative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Louise Sorensen, and I want my school to stay the same because I was there since I was 2, and it's an amazing school to stay at, and it's my home.
Thank you.
As Dr. Zeman can attest to, or Coach Zeman, as I know him, a minute is going to be very hard for me to stick to. I'd like to say what a diverse group of speakers. And that diverse group of speakers so far has represented the diversity of an A school with the most diverse campus in the county that represents all of the county. And that's very important to remember. Today I am confused and frustrated. I'm very confused at how a school that meets 0 of the criteria could be set to be put into this consideration. I'm also very, very confused at why we would look at not replicating something that's become so successful and continue to look at an option to use it as a shining beacon versus just moving it to another location. I'm also frustrated that we would take kids who have come out of a very difficult situation over the last 5 years and ask them to stand on unsettled ground and be the people who will test this out to see if it works. I will not accept option A or B today, but instead I will work with you to find an option C that leaves Virginia Schumann Young the way it is.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Hi, my name is Cameron, and I am a third grader at VSY Elementary. When my mom told me about this possible change, I did not think it was a good idea. First, I want the future generations to have the same experience I had. My favorite thing about VSY is learning things and art. Second, it may be hard for parents to transfer their kids to another school. Mom has talked with me about attending private school in the future, but I do not want to wear a uniform, and I do not want my mom to pay for it. Also, the teachers are amazing, and I know that my test score tomorrow is going to be amazing because
Yes,
my
it
teacher is great.
Yeah. And you are amazing. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Lisa Campolo. I am the incredibly proud assistant principal at Virginia Schumann. I had no intention of speaking, but I would like to also say that I am also a proud twin mom of 2 girls at Fort Lauderdale High School, and I love Miss Brown. But I would really like to take this opportunity to thank our parents and our students and our community members for being here this evening, and thank you as well. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Mike Owen. I was born and raised in the city of Fort Lauderdale. I attended Harbordale Elementary, Sunrise Middle, and Fort Lauderdale High right here. I now serve this community as a battalion chief for Fort Lauderdale Fire Department. I've got 2 daughters. Also attended UF, go Gators. I have 2 daughters, Kate and Taylor, who have attended VSY since kindergarten. My wife and I have both been active at VSY, volunteering at every opportunity. We've both also been strong advocates for public schools, and until now had planned to send our daughters to Sunrise and Fort Lauderdale High. The proposed plan to move the VSY Montessori Magnet program to Bennett and make VSY a boundary school have us questioning the trajectory of our children's education and strongly considering private school. The idea that district officials would propose uprooting an established high-achieving school community completely erodes our confidence in Broward County Public Schools. We're not alone in this feeling. And I believe that this change will have a broader destabilizing effect and enrollment will decline.
Sir, no. I'm going to give you more time, but we have to make an announcement. The owner of a light blue Plymouth DLT, the license plate, is DLT, the letter V is in Valerie, 41. Again, David, Larry, Thomas. We need you to go and move your car. Please go meet security out front. Please, can you please put 30 seconds back on the clock? And I'm even though I'm a Seminole, I'm giving you 30 seconds.
Oh.
But I thank you for your service, so that's why you're getting 30 seconds.
We are not alone in this feeling, and I believe that this change will have a broader destabilizing effect and enrollment will decline beyond just the affected schools. Slow down the process, engage the community, and get it right. Don't try to fix what isn't broken. Keep the Montessori Choice program at VSY. Thank you.
Thank you. And go Knowles. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Yvonne Moniz. I'm a Broward County 15-year school teacher. I was past appointed by Leonardi here, committee for facilities committee. I was really happy to see that TCC building, KCW right on the option. That was a great there. I'd like to see that go forward with selling, repurposing, put the staff into the schools that aren't doing so well so they can still keep the kids in there and you can put some staff in there too. VSY, I've been to a few different schools in Broward County because, you know, life changes, you move to different schools. This place is magical. Okay. VSY is your model, absolutely. Bring the same thing to Bennett, and this is your model, though. Don't dismantle it, please. I am a true believer in public school. My daughter was there on MSD that day, Valentine's Day. And I still send my children to public school. I am still a public school teacher. Leave this program alone.
Thank you.
I don't want to live I don't want to leave VSY because I love VSY so much.
Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am. It's on.
Good evening. My name is Omar Soberanis. As you can see, I'm the proud father of two beautiful girls. Both of them were raised and are being raised in a Montessori culture, so we're a true believer of this magnificent way of growing wonderful little adults. So because they treat them as adults and with all the potential. So we're standing here to vouch for VSY, for keeping VSY on touch. If these proposals go through, we will definitely enroll from public schools. We're one of the lucky families that are full choice. We drive to come to this school because we know that it's one of the best schools in the Broward community. So that's a fact that I want you to consider. On the other hand, I work for a consulting firm, Mr. Strauss and Dr. Hepburn, and I've seen the report, and I would totally do the same that you did. Define 5 key drivers based on KPIs. I would rank them as yes or no. It makes sense in that way, but my problem is with the strategy and the methodology. The strategy, instead of accepting the declining enrollment, I would expect the proposal to see how we increase the enrollment. On the other hand, with the content, I don't see how each one of these considerations are driving the needle for the enrollment and the maximizing the budget. I don't see any of that data in the reports, and I think it's a true.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Giotto. This is my daughter, Hannah. She is now a 2nd grader. This was her kindergarten picture, and by the time this picture was taken, she was reading, and she was not reading before. And she's thriving. We moved into the neighborhood in the school, and she obtained a seat because we were residents of Victoria Park. Since then, I have proudly watched Hannah and her classmates blossom as a result of the high-quality education and welcoming atmosphere provided by the educators, administration, and support staff. If you were to look into Hannah's 2nd and 3rd grade classroom, you would see a diverse group of Black, brown, and white children learning and growing together. If you look out over the campus, you see the same. For many, VSY is a family. No matter their situation at home, this is a family. VSY is our family, and our family is VSY.
Thank you.
My name is Julian, and I don't want to leave VSY. It is, I love VSY. It is Montessori. Montessori is the best. I don't want to leave it. My teacher is Miss Marcinison. I don't want to leave her at VSY.
Thank you.
My name is Mr. Thomas, and VSY is family. My oldest graduated from VSY, currently in high school, and VSY was a great foundation for her to transition. My son is wrapping up pre-K now, and my youngest just got in. And like I said, it's an amazing school with it's a diverse background. You got kids from all over the world, connections to all over the world, and that's important for the youth. As you see, we're a community. Not every parent here knows each other, but we all know that VSY is good for our children and has been good for our children. And I also want to say, you talked about budgets, and that was in consideration, a major point. Have you thought about what it's going to cost to properly train teachers in a Montessori way and the time that it's going to take to do that? And the only thing that it doesn't fit any of the criteria. The only thing it has now is that it's younger than 30 years old. So let's not. We're in the process of making history with VSY. So let's keep it going. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eric, and that was my son Julian that is a kindergarten. That he came up with that himself, and he's got that confidence because he goes to VSY. So there's a lot of immeasurables and there's a lot of measurables. I think the immeasurables you see, but the measurables, I have some metrics. 1994, 100A. We're at 100% enrollment. The building's only it started in 1994, and we're an A-rated school. Why would you mess with that? That is actually the beacon. That is the benchmark. That should be replicated. Those are the measurables. Other measurables, Victoria Park is against this. They don't even hit all of their allotted spots. That's immeasurable. Nobody wants this. And lastly, since I got 7 seconds left, what is with the commuter program at North Fork? I don't know anything about it. I've never heard of this. It made no sense to me. You guys got to rethink this. I don't know.
Thank you, sir.
This was not intended, but as I was waiting in line, my son came up to me and asked me a question. I thought it was worth you all hearing. Go ahead.
Why can't they make their own Montessori?
I'm Sean Goldstein, and I've lived in Fort Lauderdale for 15 years, and 18 months ago, we moved to Victoria Park for 2 A-rated elementary schools, Harbordale and VSY, which we chose. We were stunned to learn of the board's plan to remove both in their current forms, while providing few data points and incorrect information to the public. The Victoria Park VSY seats are underutilized. Kindergartners can use the allotment, and mid-elementary transfers, though not necessary of our focus, can too. 4 spots open this year for my child's class alone due to families moving. Realistically, Victoria Park will not have an A school left with your proposed plan after removing Harbordale from the boundary and stripping VSY of its assets, those being their programs, diversity, community, existing PTA, and an exodus of their Montessori-trained teachers. The certifications take 2 years or more. There's no way for Bennett to staff a new Montessori program without cannibalizing VSY's teachers. If rebuilding a traditional teaching core and culture were easy, it'd be best to focus on Bennett's improvement than harm kids by dismantling VSY. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Anthony Lamonaco. I'm here because of Oak Ridge Middle School. I've got a full-time job. I'm taking care of my mom. My house is in Central Florida. And I've got an adopted son, Benjamin. And I find it a waste of my time, and I'm sorry if you take it the wrong way, that we're here for 1% of what you realize is the educational system and educating to deal with housing and all the other aspects of it. I am a first generation Florida, went through most of your school systems, pushed through most of them, ended up in private, then going back. So I've been through the school system. You got to fix the problem. You know the problem's the education, then stick to it. His school has done very well considering what they have to work with. You guys hold their hands and tie them behind their backs and tie their legs up, and they ain't going to be able to do anything, and that's what we're fighting with. I take them to daycare. I spend a ton of money in daycare, and that's what she keeps coming back. The system's broken. They don't want to fix it. They're more concerned about their property and funding than they are about education. If you want to compete with the schools, go back to basics. You went to education. They're doing it good here. Copy and paste. Why reinvent it?
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Walter Hahnemann. My day job is an attorney at Legal Aid Service of Broward County. I'm also a Broward resident. I am asking you to take we've heard a lot from VSY, but I'm also asking you to take the time to be intentional and to do some community participatory research with students, with parents, and with community organizations in other schools that will feel the effects from this change. I want you to consider equity, well-being, and justice based on race, economic power, and neighborhood and community cohesion. Elementary schools are anchors to communities. Take away the elementary school, you take away an anchor from that community. Lastly, I heard historic. Walker Elementary is standing on the shoulders of Mr. Dillard and Mr. Ely. It is the oldest existing black school in the county. That is history.
Thank you.
Fred Betts. I'm just a grandfather who's speaking from the heart. I attended Eastside before it became VSY, and then went to Bayview where my daughter teaches, and Sunrise in Fort Lauderdale. I have 8 grandchildren in town, 3 beautiful daughters. I am so proud of all of them. I have 2 now that are in VSY, 1 at Sunrise and 1 at Lauderdale. This school, I didn't understand at first. I'm old, but it's obviously working very well. We have a wonderful group of parents who are trying to go to the public school system in Sunrise and Lauderdale. I don't know why you would change any of this. And as I look around, I am so very proud of every one of you, because I feel like that the world is going to work somehow because of thank you. And also, did you give 2 minutes to everybody to speak last week at the other? Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Tatiana Noel. I have a first grader at VSY. I work in finance and higher education, and my university has went through multiple realignments throughout the year. So I do understand what you're going through, and I sympathize with you. But I think that it's important to realize that our students are not just numbers, and thinking that the VSY Montessori program can just be moved to Bennett and that it will be successful means that you may not truly understand how the Montessori program works. And I think that a lot of the benefits of what VSY is something that should be considered. When I was looking at schools for my daughter, I remember touring different schools, and as an African American, I would go into the schools and I would count how many black kids were at quality schools that I would want my child to attend. And when I went to VSY and I saw the diversity that she was able to be a part of, that's something that should not be taken away from other students, including my child.
Thank you.
Connie Betts, I am giving my time to Mary Furtick. For me, please. She has my notes.
So we're not donating time. We have not donated time at any community forum.
She has my notes that she could.
So Ms. Furtick, come to the mic. Thank you, but we are not donating time.
Okay, and
Thank you, Ms.
I'm
Furtick.
not going to take any of the time, so I'm going to ask you to start it, but before you start
No, we're
it-
going to start it back. Yes, we're going to start it
Oh, yeah,
over.
and I just want to say, I think it's inherently unfair that you come to this community and you give us 1/3 the time that you gave other speakers. We have 2 school board members up here. This was our time to speak, and we all came with the expectation of 2 to 3 minutes, and we're then given 1 minute. And you know I've done this for a long time, so I'm going to start with my prepared comments, which include the fact that my friend Connie, my friend Karen, and I once all sat in this auditorium as students. And by the late 1980s, we realized we had severe problems with education in our city, and that if we didn't do something, we weren't going to have successful public school education. So what did we do? We went out first. This is so unbelievable, everybody. We were just parents, and we got this district to agree to put hundreds of millions of dollars into our eastern schools. We then created programs. When my oldest daughter came here, this was an F school. Karen's son sat in class with her, and guess what? Did we pull them? No, we did not. We created the programs. Our community, not you all, our community created the programs. Today, Fort Lauderdale High is listed by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best high schools in America. And I think that you all need to recognize that that was done by our community. When you started this process, you could have gone to Innovation Zones, you could have gone to the City Advisory Board, you could have done all kinds of things, but you didn't. And so what you have in front of you is a plan that has come to a zone with 5 schools at 100% capacity, 1 at 90. Yes, 3 are under-enrolled, but we sit trying to solve our own problems. You need to stop, you need to take a pause, and you need to start over with community outreach. Maybe
Nah. Thank you, Ms. Furtick.
Good evening. I didn't think I mentioned my name last week. I am Taisha Cox. I am a teacher of 28.8 years. So I want to address, not even on my notes, but it bothered me, this person that stood right here in front of me about black and brown and quality schools. My son went to Walker Elementary. My son went to Parkway Middle, and he went to Stranahan High School, and he got a quality education. So that bothered me, but moving on. I looked at, after the meeting from last week, I don't think I welcomed you, I'm sorry, welcome. Heron Heights and Park Trails was on the website for combined attendance for school boundary enrollment changing, and it appears that they're low enrolled, but I don't see those zone schools on the PowerPoint. Maybe I'm misreading it, don't know, because it could be my misinformation. I do know on slide 16 for today, oh, I'm already done. Yeah, on slide 16, I'm unsure of the Parkland and Southwest Ranches. Like, I felt like that was glossed over. I think that probably could be brought to the community more so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening and thank you. My name is Mike Wayner. I live in Victoria Park. My kids go to VSY, and I'm really astounded to see the school board, in fact, presenting information to me that's saying that Victoria Park has issues with VSY attendance. Again, the data has been clear. It seems that Victoria Park is being served by VSY. VSY, everybody's mentioned the culture. My kids have gone there for 2 years now. It's incredibly diverse. It's multicultural. They get exposure to children from all across Broward County. They're so much better for it. And the notion that we think that we can extract culture and overlay it into another physical entity I'm astounded that we can think about that, because that just seems like a completely impractical approach. We need to find solutions that work together, that serve the community that you guys you're serving us. So let's work together and find solutions that really work, please.
Thank you, sir. Hi.
My name is Fiona Young. I'm a proud pioneer from Virginia Sherman Young. I'm a 4th grader in Miss Montgomery's and Mr. Hu's class. I want to say, please leave our school alone, and on the bottom of your table says excellence in education. Maybe about learning about education, because many worried faces are here, and this is 1/12 of our school, and the rest doesn't know about this, might be watching the live stream, but many do not know, and it would put a sad face to the people who are in stress. And by having our PM3 test tomorrow, I feel like we should maybe lower the stress down and maybe not change VSY, because it's the best. Please leave us alone.
Hey, you're the best. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and staff. My name is Damaris Henlin. My students have attended VSY for the past 4 years, and we are currently zoned for Bennett. I'm here because I want to thank you for explaining your vision to all of us. And I come from a family of educators, so I deeply empathize with the issues that the school board and the district is currently experiencing. However, we speak a lot about what is best for all Broward children, but based on the criteria that was explained previously tonight, and in fact, based on the many different and often changing criteria that we've heard throughout this entire process, I don't understand how closing VSY's programming and trying to move it to Bennett would benefit all of the children at all. VSY is a high-performing school just as it is, and it should stand as a model. You don't destroy a model, you emulate it. So my empathy for the situation notwithstanding, I do not support any of the options put forward thus far. I want to add my voice in saying, please do not change the current programming at VSY, and please leave it intact. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Kevin Young. I'm proud father of 3 children at VSY. 2 of them have spoken already tonight. VSY is why we are in Broward County still. I'm a single father. I'm low income. Having 3 kids is a struggle. We started out at North Fork Elementary several years ago. The conditions there were rough. My children were struggling, but once we got to VSY, things have gotten improved so much. If I was to say anything, I would say expand more onto the Montessori programs and emulate them in other schools, as other parents have said, but also make them more accessible. A big barrier for us as low income was the pre-K programs and the early morning education programs, because the Montessori schools start at different times. Funding was a big issue for that. But if you're going to talk about public-private partnerships and talk about how that can help our high schools, we really need to focus on hybrid technology, hybrid engine technology, hybrid auto techs. We need real future tech programs in our high school students. You want to draw those kids back from private schools? Give them an opportunity. Give them something guaranteed when they're out of high school. They've got a certificate that can give them a good, decent job.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name's Adam Purdy. Dr. Hepburn, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to start by quoting Mr. Strauss from the April 29th meeting. Mr. Strauss, you said at that point, Virginia Schumann Young sits in a neighborhood where there are images of real estate agents that bring clients by to purchase and when they purchase a home, they cannot gain entrance into that school. There's a lot to dissect from your comment there, Mr. Strauss, but, you know, images of real estate agents. I'm not sure where you're getting these images from. I'm not sure if you own real estate interests yourself in that neighborhood. I'm not sure if you're affiliated with anyone who owns real estate interests in that area. But I implore the board to please put this roughly 700 children who are currently in attendance at VSY ahead of selling a few homes or some parcels of land. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is John. My family's been involved in the Fort Lauderdale community since the early 1950s. I grew up here. I did not go to public school here. My daughter goes to VSY. She is a very, very high-performing student there. She's excelling there. She's in a third grade reading level in kindergarten there. We give VSY a lot of credit for that. If you're going to gut a program that works, you're going to gut it and dump it onto another school, a program that takes years to develop properly. VSY didn't get this way in a year, 2 years. It's taken time. You're going to gut that and dump it onto another school and hope everything goes okay? That's a bad idea. Y'all should just feel bad for it. Really. If you guys gut VSY and take this program away, we will pull my daughter out of this program, out of public schools in Broward County, and move out of the county. And I say that as somebody who has lived, my family's been here since the 50s. I will leave the county because of this stuff. Look in the mirror later. Feel bad about it.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. My name is Crystal. I do have a daughter, Ava, here. She's in pre-K at VSY, going to kindergarten next year. We drive 45 minutes every day to drop her off at school. My daughter was born during COVID, so this is somewhere where she looks forward to going to every day. I feel safe dropping my kid off at school every day. If this program change goes through, we'll most likely be pulling her out of Broward County Public Schools. We're zoned for Winston Park Elementary right now. It is an overpopulated school. They're over capacity currently. We could send her to one of the Parkland schools, which are under capacity. Unfortunately, we're not guaranteed a seat there. So our only other options are private schools, like a lot of the parents here. VSY is a family. I know more of the parents at VSY than I do my neighbors. I maybe only know 3 of my neighbors' names. I know almost every single parent in my daughter's classroom. I know their name, plus parents from other classrooms. It's a family. You are interrupting our children's education right now. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Alex Boardman. I'm a Fort Lauderdale firefighter here. I have 2 girls that go to Virginia Schumann Young. When my girls got accepted into the lottery, it was like we won the lottery. This school is incredible. The culture that is cultivated here, the staff, the administrators, this wasn't just put together in 1 year. And I feel like this is kind of a haphazard way to deal with a problem at Bennett Elementary. I know Bennett is struggling, and I empathize for Bennett, but I feel like this program should be a model that should be put forward and emulated throughout the county. Do not break this. Our kids deserve better. My kids, like I said, we live in Northeast Pompano. My girls ride the bus 30 minutes each way to go. It makes it a very long day, but it's worth it. The teachers are worth it. The staff is worth it. Keep it as it is.
Thank you for your service.
Good afternoon. My name is George Parado. I'm 15 years into my career in corporate supply chain. I'm also a tax-paying local business owner who chose to open my business in Victoria Park. We did so because of its proximity to VSY. I have two young daughters, 6 and 3. My 6-year-old hasn't been able to get into VSY. Obviously, it's lottery. And when we did this coming year, she's going into first grade. Dr. Strauss mentioned, Mrs. Strauss mentioned that the goal is to keep kids, or to be able to get kids to read by the end of first grade. By a lot of the parents that I've heard so far, their kids in kindergarten, first grade, are all reading at a much higher level, and you don't get that from many other schools. I also heard the term maximum utilization. It's a common business term. Our kids aren't a business. Don't treat them as such. We're not going to let you do it. Reconsider this whole thing. Start from scratch. We're willing to work with you, but do your due diligence, not just with your business partners, but with the community as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, school board members. I'm Nicole Gallardo. My family and I have lived in the Victoria Park neighborhood since 2010. We have 3 kids in Broward County Public School System. The 2 oldest went to VSY for elementary, and the youngest is in 2nd grade there currently. We have stayed rooted here for over 14 years because of the incredible education they're receiving at VSY. I'm hoping you can see by now that we do not want VSY included in this proposal. Dismantling our high-performing program at VSY would not solve the under-enrollment program at Bennett. I understand you're trying to solve a big problem, and thank you for all you do. I know it's not easy. But the real question is, what is the root cause of the under-enrollment problem? It is the effect of a bigger issue that needs to be addressed by studying the communities involved and researching the factors that caused it. I'm asking you all to dig deeper and listen to the overwhelming opposition to this idea. Why would we destroy a school that can be considered a success story within the public school system? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, firstly, for hearing all of us tonight and for your service to the district. My name is Melissa Galfond, and my message is simple. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, like another one of our colleagues said up here. Here's my perspective. My husband and I are both products of Broward County Public Schools K-12 graduates. We've lived in Victoria Park for 20 years. We've been volunteers and room parents and all of that at Virginia Schumann Young Elementary. We have 2 kids there now. We became involved in the Victoria Park Civic Association over 10 years ago when we fought to get more seats for Victoria Park and to get rezoned for Harbordale. I also served as a board member for the Victoria Park Civic Association during that time. In all of these conversations, and as part of my work, I do community outreach, and I knock on doors in the neighborhood and talk to people about, any questions about the neighborhood or the schools. And in all of these 9 to 10 years, no one in Victoria Park is complaining, to me at least, that I can't get my kid in, there's no room, or I'm unhappy going to my zoned school of Harbordale. So my message is simple. I would suggest you put your time, resources, and money toward helping other schools that need it and preserve VSY as a Montessori and keep Victoria Park zoned for Harbordale. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Sekerchuk. This is my 31st year teaching and my 28th year as a Montessorian. I've been at VSY for 18 years. And over that time, I've seen administrators come and go, teachers come and go, and the children thrive. I'm not going to cry. I always cry.
It's okay.
I would had the opportunity to teach summer school at Bennett as a substitute, and it's a lovely school, and it would make a lovely Montessori location. Considerations are that to staff a classroom with the materials is $44,000 for Montessori materials. To staff a teacher with the watered-down Montessori education that our teachers are going through now is going to take money and time. We have the opportunity as teachers at VSY to help get this new school on board as a Montessori school and be their sister and their parents. The teachers love VSY, and we don't want to leave, and I don't think you'll get us to go. So,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Remember, listen, you all were doing good. You were doing this, and you were snapping your fingers, and you were, let's go back to that just a little while longer. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is J.C. Stornetta. Tonight I'm here to speak against the proposed relocation of the Montessori program from VSY. This isn't merely about transferring a program. It's uprooting a thriving community that our children have become integral parts of. My son is a kindergartner this year at VSY. I've witnessed firsthand the transformative impact this program has had on my child's educational journey. The transition from daycare to elementary school was challenging, but thanks to the nurturing environment of VSY, my son is now thriving and excited about learning. We were given the opportunity to attend VSY through school choice, essentially winning the lottery that everyone else talks about. Moving this Montessori program would not only disrupt the lives and routines of children, families, and teachers and staff, but also deprive us of a supportive community that so many have worked to build. Moreover, VSY isn't just a school or location, it's a canvas. We just did Arts Alive, and our kids painted tiles. Those tiles go on the walls. You can't move that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Crystal Brown. My son Cassius attends VSY. The survey sent out tonight, especially regarding question 4, needs to be resent out to all stakeholders in the community with options that include our voice, our data, and our vote. All the points I've heard tonight regarding this redefining plan are about adding more headcount to failing schools while dismantling a school that should be an example for the school district. I don't hear anything in this consideration about how you're going to improve the quality of education at schools that are struggling other than forcing headcounts to shift from A schools to underperforming schools. Leave VSY Elementary and our community out of your redefining plans unless it involves keeping VSY intact and mirroring its programs at underperforming schools, and we'd be happy to share, as we all have tonight, why this school is such a success.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. My name is Liz Roberts, and I'm the proud parent of 2 children, both of whom attended Broward County Public Schools magnet programs, VSY, Parkway, and Fort Lauderdale High, from kindergarten through 12th grade. Both are students at the University of Florida now, and I credit their early education during their formative years at VSY with their academic success. We live in Hollywood. Mr. Strauss, when you say taking away the magnet designation from VSY will attract back Victoria Park students to the school from private schools, the magnets are what attracted parents like me to these schools to begin with. We rejected scholarship offers to attend our well-established magnets. We could have attended brand new Beachside when it opened, which is right around the corner from me, and goes up through 8th grade. But we stayed with VSY, though it was a half hour away and didn't go through 8th grade because it was well-established with every single teacher properly trained in Montessori education. And shout out to my friends, Ms. Sekerchek, who was my children's first teacher, Ms. Frails, who was my children's last teacher, Ms. Stock, and our beloved Dr. Strauss. some there for at VSY for years, some for decades, because it was far more diverse than Beachside, because it is an A-rated school, a blue ribbon school, as well as the welcoming environment of parent volunteers who truly make a difference and help build the school into what it is. I'm almost done, please don't cut me off. VSY is a gem. It is magic. Look, I have no skin in this game with college kids now, but I was appalled by these considerations. How on earth can you consider dismantling such a successful program and rolling the dice that maybe Bennett will somehow replicate VSY? I implore you to come up with a different decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I am Daniel Salvato, a 5th grader at VSY Elementary. This change won't affect me, for I'm graduating this year, but for the sake of my younger sister and all of the students younger than me who this will affect, I have an analogy. If a flower is blooming, you can't rip it out and put it somewhere else, for that destroys the roots. Without roots, the flower dies. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Sparks?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is James Sparks. I'm a founding member of a group called Citizen Concerned About Our Children. One of the things I'd like to say is we went to court. We had a federal judge tell us that we as parents don't have the right to advocate for our kids. If you don't believe it, look up Citizen Concerned About Our Children against Broward County Schools. Now, what I'm saying is, Broward County Schools, the parents are speaking. I'm in the South area. We got problems down there. You guys got to do a little bit more attentive listening to the parents. The community, I've heard 2 times you said, the school wanted this 5 years ago. You didn't do it. Now you need to do it on 2 or 3 different schools. Parents know what their kids need. They know what's good for their community. My community is one of the few communities in Broward County that don't have a school in it. You closed my elementary. Addicts was closed down, high school, and repurposed. So I've lived everything that we're doing here. I've lived it. My kids didn't play sports on their campus for years. It was just terrible. So what I would like to poll you guys to do, listen to the people. And I think boundaries would help us get us to where we need to go instead of all this other stuff. If we wait to boundaries, don't do nothing this year, don't put it up to next year, let's do boundaries, and then let's come back and replan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bianca Relis, and I've started VSY since 2nd grade, and now I'm in 5th. When I started, like any other kid, I was nervous, but I started to feel comfortable. VSY is a great school. They have prepared me for middle school, and I thank all the teachers for their guidance and support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tricia Halliday. I don't have a child anywhere in school right now. I did have some. My children went down to Harbordale, and that's why I came today. After seeing all these children speak from VSY, it is just amazing to them. And the parents, my gosh, you guys truly, truly are a community. I was slated to go to Harbordale. I watched VSY being built, but we went down to Harbordale, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But that being said, I don't understand why this is even before us, because it doesn't meet the criteria. We've seen this. It's been reiterated time and time and time again tonight. I just truly hope you listen to everybody here tonight and follow what the gentleman just said. Follow what the parents want. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Renika Ellis. I started VSY since I was 5 years old. Now I'm 7 years old. VSY is a great school that shouldn't be changed. VSY is my educational home. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. I'm Carla Figueroa. I am a Coral Springs resident, but I really think that this is a scare tactic and fear-mongering the way that we only have 2 options. That's one. Number 2, this survey is lacking financial data. I would hope that maybe at the workshop it's presented what is the financial gain, what is the impact, because otherwise, what's the purpose? What are we really gaining here, right? So I would actually like to present a 3rd option, right? We engage the community, and how do we do that? We do it similar to the boundary process. So the district can set the parameters. They consider either feeder patterns, the history of the schools, and you let the community submit the proposals. Let us, in every district, all 7, I know there's 9, but 2 at large, but close a school in every district. Why does it only have to be District 1, District 2, District 5? That's unequal. Why not school in District 4? And I'm a District 4 resident, so just consider that.
Thank you. Before our next speakers go, we certainly want to hear from our students. If you are in line and you have already spoken, please, we ask that you please only speak one time. If you're in line and you've already spoken, we please ask that you only speak one time. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, my name is Andre Arelis. I've been at VSY since kindergarten, and I just wanted to let you guys know that VSY is a great experience for everyone, and I think
you got it. Come on, you got it.
a lot of people should go to VSY. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hailey Sokolov. I go to North Andrews Gardens Elementary School for 7 years, and I think the younger students should have the same privilege to go to the arts of my school as I did.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name's Autumn Boyarin. I've been going to VSY since I was in kindergarten. I'm a 5th grader, and let me just say, it's been a life changer since I've been there. All the staff, the teacher, and I found so much new friends. They should focus on the C's, D's, and F strolls and not the A strolls. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Erin Gohl. I am a member of the Fort Lauderdale Education Advisory Board. I am the parent of 3 children who attend district schools, and I have the honor of being the VSY PTA president this year. So, and it is an honor. I have to say, I absolutely applaud our school board for taking on this challenge this year. We need to. This is a critical challenge, and our district is facing budgetary crises, and it takes courage. So I think that I really do applaud that at the start of this year, the school board said, we are going to have a process and look for solutions that will meet our community's needs. The problem is that I really appreciate the process you articulated. It was very, very clear. Look at schools that have struggled with achievement. Look at schools with aging facilities. Oh gosh. Anyway, it doesn't make sense to include VSY. You can see here, you are trying to create school communities that attract families. Look at what you have before you. Replicate, don't dismantle and destroy this incredible school community.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Chris Woolweaver. I have 3 children. I'm a product of this school system, from Northside Elementary all the way through Fort Lauderdale High School. I was lucky enough to have 2 of my kids that are currently in private school. I have a 5.5-year-old that goes to Bennett Elementary that has unique learning disabilities. There was times where he couldn't even get out of the car. The staff there worked with him, walked him all the way to the cafeteria. He did everything possible, and they did everything possible to help him get to where he's at now. He's been there for 3 years now, been in kindergarten. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's other ways to focus our energy than closing down schools and communities. That is the backbone of that community. There's other ways to do this, and I hope to God that you guys do the right thing and listen to everyone out here today. I wish there were some parents from Bennett, hopefully still out there maybe. But I'm gonna tell you right now, changing these kids' schools is going to cripple them in the long run, and I believe that you guys can do better, because at the end of the day, you guys work for us, and we're right here. One vote can change everything, all right, for these kids, and that's all I got.
Thank you,
do the right
sir.
thing.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Julia Overturf. I am the proud Vice President of the VSY PTA. And we very much respect what you guys are here to do. We know change needs to be made. We would love for schools like Bennett to have a better system in place. It would be great to have another Montessori magnet. My 2 kids have had 3 different teachers at VSY. They have all been there over 20 years. They are amazing people. As it's been said, they are like part of our family. You can't just simply pick them and a program up and move it to another location and expect it to perform the way it does now. VSY does not meet any of the criteria set forth by the school board to be considered to be closed or moved, so we kindly and strongly ask that you please take VSY out of the plan, pause, and make a better plan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Javon Powell. I'm a Pompano High graduate. I'm a father of a daughter that goes to that attends Fort Lauderdale High School right now. We talk about the schools closing, but what we haven't talked about anything about how many kids come back each year from these charter schools that are failing our kids, overstretching our resources. We talked about an alarming number of, you haven't talked about an alarming number of charter schools that close each year in this county. Conversely, we have just about that many that reopen in this county. It's a revolving door of money leaving our county, but you guys talk about nothing that we have done to to stop that. Talk about budget shortfalls. Trade schools are worth $14 billion. What are you doing to increase adult education options? We have a number of trade schools that are closed in this county. That's an opportunity for you guys to step in, bring more money back to the school board so we don't talk about closing these schools. And once again, root cause. If we're not talking about the root cause, we're just going to end up back here. More schools closing mean more unemployment in the county. More unemployment in the county equals what? Higher crime. Come on. Think, people.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Jenna Cassiata. I'm a mother and also a graduate of the Broward County Public School System. I went to Tropical, Seminole, and South Plantation. I actually currently live in those neighborhoods today, could send my children there, but yet we drive 30 minutes to go to VSY. For preschool, my children were in a very recognized private preschool that goes all the way through 12th grade. But again, we could have stayed, but we choose to drive 30 minutes to VSY. My son is in kindergarten, and he is a little bit nervous socially, and the changes I've seen in both of my children are absolutely incredible. My kindergartner used to need his 2.5-year younger little sister to go to a birthday party and fit in. And now he can order at a restaurant, he can't wait to get out the door in the morning, and most importantly for me and my story, when they get into the car in the afternoon, they are fighting over each other to tell us about their day. Please don't break what's working.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Monica Preem. I am a Broward County resident. I live in the city of Fort Lauderdale. My husband and I are products of the Broward County Public School System. We were born and raised. Between the two of us, we have Oak Ridge, Olson, Fort Lauderdale High, Bennett, Bayview, and also Boyd Anderson in the IB program. I was one of the first products of the magnet system, graduated in 1999. I want to start with a quote. There is a great sense of community within the Montessori classroom, where children of differing ages work together in an atmosphere of cooperation rather than competitiveness. There is respect for the environment and for the individuals within it, which comes through experience of freedom within the community. That is a quote from Dr. Maria Montessori. The Montessori program is not something that can be created, like many have said, overnight, and it works. It works. Proof of that, we have second graders coming up to talk. You can't move location. It is not something that can be just taken out of one and put into another spot. You will break something that is precious to all of us. You will break this community without any resources to bring it back afterwards.
Thank you, ma'am.
VSY means a lot to me and the students in it.
Thank you. Go right ahead.
My name is Hannah. I'm a first grader, and I love VSY because it's the best school ever.
Thank you. Wait, hold on one second. Hold on.
My name is Amelia Davidson, and this is the best, and I think this is the best school I ever had. And if you take it down, you're gonna take a piece of our learning down.
Thank you, Amelia. Yes. Okay, it's your turn.
Rachel.
It's your turn.
Okay.
Okay.
I am Rachel Baruch. You please don't turn down our school. Please. It's our only hope. And if you break a piece of our work, then that means then everyone knows that we are a natural student, as we will be one day, as long as you two don't put this school down off.
Thank you, Rachel.
And let me talk. Rachel.
Go ahead.
Everything's good? No. Okay. So, you bullies are all alike. No, I'm sorry. Come on. No.
Thank you, Rachel.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Anthony Davidson, and I'm a proud parent of VSY students. The two kids that were there before me, those are my kids. And I just want to say, when I was able to win the lottery, I literally won the lottery to get my kids into this program. It's been wonderful from day one. The teachers, the administrative staff, they're like family. And my son was very introverted. He was going to Nova Elementary School, and he wasn't thriving as much. And then we got accepted into the VSY program, and now he's thriving. He's in the Critter Club. He's more excited to go to school, and you see my daughter is also thriving also. So please reconsider to remove the magnet program. Please, I want you to please to reconsider from removing the magnet program. We wanted to keep it at VSY. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Tom Vasquez, and I just want to open up first addressing the room here, because VSY and Bennett and the community here, I've gone to every single town hall, and you guys have showed up and heard your voices heard. You deserve a round of applause. I give you that. So I just want to share a couple points. I've already talked to the panel up here, but this is, again, for the room, really. So I have a background in Department of Defense. I have a background in corporate America, and I can tell you, absolutely, there is no stakeholder community that would have been presented this way, and it would have been acceptable. So you're right. Your instincts are right. And we've talked about how we could improve this, and we're working with them. I've given some recommendations out of, at least from my background. But there's hope. There's actually hope. What would we do in another scenario? We're faced with this. You come together by doing a couple of things. First, the courses of action that we've talked about. They've heard that. They need some more detail on the way ahead with different courses of action to balance it. Follow the money. But the other one is a seat at the table of the process. They could stand up investment community investment committees. They can stand up advisory committees, because who knows best but the community? And we don't have that in the process now. Advocate for a seat at the table. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Sean Sokolov. You need to introduce more magnet programs, even tech schools, air conditioning, plumbing, everything, versus taking them away. Kids need it. Started in middle school, even high school. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Tall girl. I'm trying. I've been struggling. I'm trying.
You may have to hold it. Go ahead. I think it's going to work with you now.
2 minutes or 1 minute? Is it 2 minutes or 1 minute? 1 minute. Oh, it's one? Oh, Jesus. I really got to go into the ventricular. Okay. Greetings, Superintendent, staff, and board members. I'm going to basically, I'm a taxpayer for all kids. I do not I'm against you closing Broward Estates Elementary School. I have a suggestion. I do agree with the early learning 0 to 4, and then continue it to K to 5, and then Parkway Middle School 6 to 8 is one facility. They can all stay together for the safety of the kids. So I do have a solution, perception versus reality. You have the facility there, you have the seats already there, fill it with the 0 to 4, and then let it go continuing so that there's no breakup. Please continue. The KC Wright building, I'm against it. It is history there. It is not headquarters. It is known as KC Wright building. So I urge you to do that. Take staff from the other locations, move it there into one place. School grades, get rid of it because it's not teaching the students. It is basically allowing them, to prepare them for post-secondary. Allow teachers to teach instead of teaching to the test. Students don't even know cursive writing, nor do they know a signature. Bring programs back, focus. Human trafficking is there. There's no monitoring of attendance. And I just want to say, if I can, just words of encouragement to Dr. Hepburn publicly. I just want to tell you, Dr. Hepburn, to write your vision and make it plain. Don't allow yourself to be sifted as weak. And I want you to be encouraged and know that prayer changes things. Be encouraged, okay? I'm going to give Dr. Wanza a handout.
Yes,
and then she can give it to,
okay.
Hi, my name is Indy, and please leave our school unknown. I like to read, and I like my friends.
All right, thank you. My name's Colette Schnabel. I have 2 children at VSY. Indy is one of them. And I didn't know anything about Montessori until my children got into it. I moved around a lot, and I also almost did not graduate school. And so having this as an opportunity for my children to have this education and to see how they thrive. Indy is only in pre-K 4, and she's reading fluently and helping her other students learn how to read. Also, last year, my house, along with some other homes, were the ones that flooded, and we had to vacate the house, and the community at VSY really supported and lifted my family up. I'm also a little confused with the presentation. I'm concerned for the teachers of schools that are going to be closing, as my sisters are also in the education. And regarding my sisters, they're really surprised on how brilliant my children are, because it's not normal what they see in their standard school systems. So if we can please keep VSY the way it is.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. First, I'd like to start off with a thank you. Thank you for your time. We've been here about 3 hours. I have 2 children here that are in pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. I was in private schools with Montessori. I've been to 3 different private schools of Montessori across the state, across the nation as well. I'm from Chicago originally. I will pull my kids out of your Broward public school and send them back to private school. That is not part of your plan, right? You want to bring people here. I'm here because of VSY. This school is a unicorn. I moved to this area to have a chance to go to the school, and I won the lottery. That's what we say, we won the lottery. I did it twice, to get into pre-K and then to get in kindergarten. So, 1, it checks the box of performing, it checks the box of diversity, and it also checks the box of the year and capacity. So, I'm really about analytics and data. Feeling? Oh, baby. It's my Jackson boy. He is 5 years old. He reads at a 3rd grade level. He's working on multiplication, double-digit math, because of Montessori Foundation. So I'm so proud of you. And I just want to say to you guys, quantifiable data, there is none. We need to see the numbers that back up your decisions. The feelings are very important, but the numbers are what's speaking. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you. So for everyone who is still here and everyone who's still watching online, we certainly thank you for not only joining us tonight, but for everything that was said and everything that you spoke to us, spoke to our superintendent, spoke to our board members, spoke to district staff, spoke to the community at large. At this time, we're going to begin our closing remarks, and we will start with our at-large school board member, Dr. Zeman, and then to close us out, we will have the District 3 school board member, Mrs. Sarah Leonardi.
Thanks so much, Dr. Wanza. Thanks to everybody that came and shared your views. This process has not been perfect, but there are people with great intentions who want to make great decisions about you and your children and our community. One of the things I learned tonight, Dr. Hepburn, is VSY must stand for very special youths. These kids are amazing. Lice, thank you very much for bringing them. It's a little bit past my kids' bedtime, so I appreciate having you here. There are a lot of things that are shared in this. This is not a perfect format, you know, for gathering information, but we are keeping track of what you say, and we're taking it to heart. As Dr. Hepburn said, these are superintendent ideas, they're considerations. We'll see what he brings forth next week on Tuesday to our workshop, and then we still have another 5 weeks till June 18th to talk to you and to get better ideas and to rework some of the ideas we have. It is very clear to me that there are some things that were left off the list, and there's some things that are on the list that I do not agree with. And so I look forward to talking to more people. On Thursday afternoon, we're doing a city area kind of meeting where I'm hosting it down at City Hall in Hollywood. They're impacted even greater than Fort Lauderdale is in some measures. And so we're going to go down there and talk to them again, and I'll come the next week after that. We just have to figure out what the community values and what the community wants in the end. At the end of the day, we run a county-wide school system, but we need to make sure that we're listening to every parent, including all the people in this room. So thank you for taking the time, and particularly for bringing your very special youths to this meeting. Thank you.
I'll echo that sentiment. I want to hear for the students who have come forward and spoken with more grace and poise and courage than most adults. So I just want to give them a round of applause. I want to thank everyone who came tonight to speak and to advocate, and everyone who sent emails and made phone calls. Your feedback, as the superintendent said, is very, very important. And I want to thank the superintendent and staff for being open to that feedback. And I really look forward to some different proposals being brought to the board in the coming weeks. I hope that you all will stick with us through this process. So to reiterate, there is a workshop taking place on this next week on the 14th at 5 p.m. at Plantation High School. It is very important that you all are there for the entire board to hear from, as well as the meeting in June when we do vote on these proposals. So thank you again for your continued advocacy, and I really hope you, again, stick through this process with us. Thank you. I can answer to that.
Go ahead, Ms.
So
Leonard.
I have 2 children. They are not in. They're not old enough to be in public schools yet, but they potentially would be impacted when they are old enough to be in public schools. So personally, my children are not old enough to be in school yet.
Thank you for coming this evening, and we wish you safe travels to your next destination.